How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Lucid, which ended up making another lower low, testing at $18.76. We did have a lot of strength in the tech sector towards the end of the day, but we also have to keep in mind of other variables, which I'm going to be talking about in this video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is a technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support, we want to know resistance, we want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Lucid. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $19.33, being up 1.15%. On the low, it tested $18.76, and then on the high, testing $19.48. So when we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 23.803 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 20.492 million shares. So we did have above average volume on the day, and we also seen some strength in the stock. Now, when we take a look at a chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it's at 34.58. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 100-day, the 200-day, the 50-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. And what we can clearly see that Lucid isn't a bear market, trading below all of our major moving averages. We also ended up making another lower low on our daily chart here at $18.76. So this is never a great sign. And when we take into consideration the high of the day was at $19.48, and last week the high of the day was at $20.01, that is concerning. But if you want to see some strength out of the stock, of course it needs to get back above $20. And for a strong reversal, you'd want to see it get to the 21-day EMA, which is at $22.02. And upon holding this area, if it can prove to have some support, then you'd want to see how well it would do going to 24. As far as for this week, if Lucid got to $22, let's say by Friday, I would say that's quite the accomplishment for it to get to 22, especially if we have disappointment in regards to big tech earnings. But one thing that we want to be aware of though, if this level breaks at $18.76, then we could potentially get down all the way, and I think I discussed this in the previous video as well, back into the $17 range, is that $17.89. And if this level did break, then of course that's where Lucid will start getting down to $16, and then we'd want to see if it could actually hold up. I know many people are actually looking forward to this level, so we'll see what happens as this week progresses. Now let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for Lucid. Scrolling down on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So taking a look at the recent filings for the 25th, we have F&Y Investment Advisors LLC that closed out their position, which was 100%, and then we also have TSFG that closed out their position as well. But we also do see F&Y Investment Advisors LLC with puts with a value of shares of 150. Now, taking a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 63.91%, and then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 5.09 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 400,000, updated 19 minutes ago, and then for the short borrow-free rate, it is at 2.84%. Taking a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 21st, it is at 65.12, and then for the close of the 22nd, it is at 63.91. So what does this show us? Lucid does have short squeeze potential, especially since the short interest percentage of the float is at 18.70%. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Lucid. So we see on the inflow, it's at 75.47 million, and on the outflow, it's at 67.66 million. So we had an inflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown on the large, it was 5.59 million. On the medium, it is 37.52 million, and then on the small, it is 32.36 million. Taking a look at the outflow side, you can see on the large, it was 0. On the medium, it was 37.71 million, and then on the small it was 29.95 million. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for today, April the 25th, we had a big inflow of 5.59 million. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tend to represent the retail side, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying, but it was still fairly close. And then when we take a look at the large, represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had more buying than we had selling. And like I said, this contributes to an overall inflow day. And then taking a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 1.44%. So this continues to be a consistent range for Lucid. Every time we do these videos, the turnover ratio does not change much. So this is a good sign, especially in volatile markets. And what this shows us, there's not a ton of liquidity. There's not a ton of traders coming in and out of this play. So let's go into the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details, and as well as a recent press release that came out, but not officially from Lucid. So let's get into it right now. So for my final thoughts for Lucid, so here's the speculation that is going around. So the Lucid Air is supposed to be launched in the summer for Europe, and then in 2023, the Lucid Air will be coming to China. Again, this is some really good news right here, but it hasn't been officially announced. And I can see this bringing a lot of excitement into the stock, especially as things begin to turn around. Again, we need to hear something coming from the company themselves before we go ahead and run with this. So I want to make sure I'm being clear about that. I just want to let you know what's going on the street. Now, taking a look at the price action, I was saying in my previous video, I think a big accomplishment for Lucid would get to $22 sometime this week. But if things continue to look bearish, then I'm not seeing this. But if we end up seeing some strength in the tech sector like we saw towards the end of the day, and as far as for earnings, if it looks good for big tech companies, $22 is possible. But if we end up having some disappointments, then I could see Lucid actually breaking through the low of the day at $18.76, and we could see the stock trading in the $17 range. And if you know if that breaks the next area of support you'd want to see hold up, it will be around $16.10. I know many of you are actually waiting for these particular levels to happen. So again, do your homework, do your due diligence, and find out if it'd be the right investment for you. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership, we do see some activity. We see institutions have loaded up on shares. And then taking a look at the short interest information, Lucid does continue to have short squeeze potential. No surprises there. There's a lot of shorts who are vested in this play. And that's why I give you guys a non-biased approach so you know exactly what is going on. So what you want to see from Lucid is it going back to $20. If you guys remember on the Friday, it had resistance at $20.01. And today it made another lower high at $19.48. So overall, that is concerning for the play, but we know it is in the NASDAQ 100. So if we have a lot of strength coming into tech, then we could see some upside in Lucid. But in the meantime, you're just going to have to wait, be patient. And if you are a trader, pay attention to those levels to the upside and as well as for the downside. There is easy money to be made inside of this play. I did not trade for the entire day, which was kind of weird, but I just said, you know what, I'm going to take a backseat. Let's see how this market plays out. We have some big tech earnings that's going to be coming on later on in the week. So you know what? I'm just going to wait for the best opportunity that fits my right setup. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see how the stock performs going into tomorrow. We'll talk soon.